Okay, so I'm just going to read a little bit from Spanish Fork, the manuscript Spanish Fork, and this time I'm just going to sound out and read a little bit from the second section, which is called Hermit Kingdom. Hermit Kingdom takes place in Seoul, South Korea, um, and it's kind of a love poem in different places in Seoul, using Rumi roughly. In another section in Spanish Fork, in the London section, which is called Snakes and Ladders, I use the different tube stops with Dante. So anyway, actually all of Spanish Fork is kind of a long love poem in three sections, and with travel, a kind of travel or nomadic poetics. So the first poem in Hermit Kingdom, which was written in 2006 but revised recently, is called the Rumi sequence. And the Rumi sequence takes place mainly in Gangnam, in Seoul, an area of Seoul called Gangnam. And it opens with this dust storm that blows in. Once a year in Seoul, there's a big dust storm that blows in from the Gobi Desert. And you can't see anything in front of you, you're crunching on sand, etc. It's quite an intense experience. So it opens with that. So this is called the Rumi sequence. Dust blows in from China, and there are millions in masks. You explain some things from your childhood about kissing and rubbing. Someone you nicknamed the Bat. He was thick, you said, and you massaged each other in the back of his parents' van on the way to church. You could not cry, but sometimes you whimpered. This dust is thick. You tell me it comes from the Gobi Desert. You met me in the communal showers. There was no rest for the penis. Together we ate ears of wheat. We were a whirl of constant millstones, rubies and sour grapes. We must be animals, you said. On the tracks we did go without a quaff of responsibility, filled with balloons. You lactated on my tongue. Live animals crawled in the shops. We searched for ham, but only found spam. Just hidden along like a little song. Won't you blow through me? Homeless as a fly, a pillow by night and a sack by day. Now my petals begin to fall. An Egyptian poet was delivered to my door, and his name was Rumi. He spoke French with Africa's nipple. Rumi and I ate fire chicken, did sip soju during Sangipsal. Our owl ate the pussycat. A secret worm ate the owl. You said heat came from the floors. I can take all of you into my mouth, you said. Your eyelashes were very amenable. Only for morning glories did we open the door. Lights buzzed in the night, and larvae boiled on the streets. Women were made to smoke in the toilets. We felt the mischief, a cup of soup between our hands. Rainbow warriors and hermits for the royal road, demons, ghosts, and depressions rescue the lovers from the temple door. We couldn't get out of bed except to eat Korean pizza with hot sauce. Seoul was full of business-like bodies. We needed solitude to dress our bodies. We liked to wash by way of experiment. You shaved my pubic hair to get a better grip with your mouth. The temple was dripping with rain. You spun me out and I became a floating island. Would you be kind enough to take in a pack of wild dogs? You said he was my first. In the communal showers we lost our thoughts. Don't you love your baby? Tell me true. We were wet and happy. Everybody wanted to go to Japan, but everybody should just hold hands. It was winter then, but when spring came, we plucked our eyebrows into twin hyphens. Your soft face fucked my soft thoughts. We were eating at the sushi bar. Your cock grew against my leg. I rubbed your pocket, and you came. There was a boy who talked to geese. because he needed the light. Our light was like slanted rain. What is a state of thought, you said. I said, my state or yours, and you said, we can only guess. Welcome to the Korean summer, eating bulgogi and bean sprouts, small pickles and quick sushi. Home is on the highway. Memories are not the porno. Keep it neon. Keep it light. We couldn't read the signs. I bought a tiltable screen. Now I can look you in the eye. So that's the opening sequence, the Rumi sequence. And loosely, very loosely based a little bit, at least to get it going, on a flatmate that I had from Africa via Paris, whose name was actually Rumi. And that was the initial sequence, and then Rumi, parts of Rumi in translation kind of mixed in there with it, along with other things. So anyway, that's the opening sequence with Rumi. All of the poems in Hermit Kingdom, Korean section of Spanish Fork, take place in different parts of Seoul. This next one is in the Flying Bird Tea House, which is in Insadong. So, Flying Bird Tea House. The sun on our finches, the feathers in our cup. Love is a soggy look, orange hair and cowboy boots. Hug me in the sunlight. The man on the left has more estrogen than the man on the right. I will masterfully perform a thin penetration. There were no tapeworms in the chamber pot. There were less plumbers and many electricians, an evening performance of fruit sellers. The next one is a translation from a Korean folk song about a flower, balloon flower, kind of romantic Korean folk song. But manipulated and changed, so it's kind of a creative translation. It's called Balloon Flower. Doraji, 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 I walk over the pass where balloon flowers bloom. It is a path that is familiar to me. Hey, 안녕하세요, reminds me of mother and twinkling boys. Hey, 안녕하세요. And the next one is kind of a short one. I was looking for a Wal-Mart. It was probably my third day in Seoul. I was looking for the Wal-Mart mainly because it was a landmark next to the place that I was living when I first arrived, in a place called Incheon, a little bit outside of Seoul. And I didn't have a phone number for any of my contacts. I lost them while walking around Seoul. So I got in a taxi and I told the taxi driver, I live in Incheon, but I don't have the address, etc. I'm trying to communicate that in broken English, but I know there's a Wal-Mart next to it. So the taxi driver drove me all over the place, took about an hour, and I ended up next to a Wal-Mart, but it wasn't the right Wal-Mart. And the same thing happened again. I got another taxi, tried to explain not this Wal-Mart, another Wal-Mart at Incheon. And I knew there was a Japanese restaurant next to it. I think it was called Sapporo. So he drove me for another hour, brought me to another Wal-Mart with a Sapporo next to it, but it wasn't my flat again. So I got out and walked around and asked people, where should I go, where should I go? And finally I was able to call a little bit. And after many, many hours, I ended up at the right Wal-Mart because I went into one of the wrong Wal-Marts and asked them for an address of a Wal-Mart next to Sapporo, and they wrote it in Korean on a big piece of cardboard, and I brought it to the next taxi driver, and eventually got home after about 6-7 hours of wandering in Seoul. Anyway, all that background story doesn't play a big part here, but just a little bit, and it's very short. It's called Incheon Wal-Mart. We were in another taxi, crossing foreign rivers, at the end of the night holding the phone to my left ear for 45 minutes. You told me you had eaten all the tenderloins. The next one is in Goshiwon, where I lived for a while. It's a very small, tiny room. I opened the door. There was a bar above me with my clothes. I could barely open the door and fall on my bed, and that's all there was. That's all I could afford for a while. And so I lived in this Goshiwan, which is mostly full of students studying for exams. Yeah, and it continues with this kind of mixing of Rumi. So this is a Gisan Goshiwan. We reeked of kimchi. A turtle pillowed us. Ancient horses have crossed the bridge. In the Goshiwan, the room was 25 pounds per week. We met in a tunnel while snow licked my lashes. Strike that. We met in a coffee shop. The clothes hung above us. Oh, rejoice for the communal kitchen. The lights of the night commute. Wonderland 1. Got red-faced. Had a reaction. Liked chicken. Ate late. Wore tights. Got imploded. Mu, which means dream, and so, which means window. So, muso. Mongolian mermaids threw their hooks into this soil, hot and dry. Be fruitful and multiply. Oh, Rumi, I will not paint. Dream, brothers, dream, lovers. This next one is also based around Wal-Mart. I was with a Korean teacher, Korean-American teacher. And of course, he mostly grew up in the U.S. and had some Korean from growing up in Koreatown in the U.S., but he didn't have all of the Korean. So we were going to Walmart and trying to find a converter for the electricity and also a razor. And he didn't have those words in Korean, so we walked around trying to find it. And it was quite a surreal experience in the Walmart. This is maybe the 6th or 7th day in Seoul. So this is a little kind of fabulistic, surreal, absurdist, maybe is the best word, kind of prose poem. And it's called Short Shorts. Let me help you find the nearest Wal-Mart, said Rumi to the wandering finger. The wandering finger is taken to the section called Short Shorts. But he is in the wrong section. He is looking for the Korean word for razor. So Rumi takes it to a stadium where old men roll on small trucks, biting the ankles of younger men in dicky bows. This is not right, screams the finger. So Rumi takes him to Gyeongbok Palace, where it finds a perky little pug barking at shadows. What's this? Exclaims the finger. But by this time, Rumi has entered the palace, sailing on the wind of 12 blind mice. There's a place in Seoul, near Hongdae, which is a university area. Lots of young people partying, that kind of thing. One of the places I used to frequent with my cousin was called Tin Pan. So this is, and there were 2 of them, maybe more. This is Tin Pan 2. In Tin Pan 2, a lot of people were experimenting, feeling free, Koreans and foreigners. So girls were kissing girls to experiment, etc. Anyway, this is called Tin Pan 2. Girls kiss girls in the shadows. Boys hug the stalls. Prepare your young ones. They will make an image. Nay, they will scuffle and shiver into the new lights. I worked at a place called Kyungin National University of Education when I lived in the Goshiwan for a while, and it didn't work out. So again, this is playing with Rumi and the eroticism. Very short, very, very short poem. Kyungin National University of Education. I blew this job for another. Yongsan. Night stands in a bid for the sun. Note, you have failed to enter the laminar. Note, you have failed to suffocate. Note, the streets are breathing, pores are breaking. 200 dreams under the broad sword. In Seoul, there was a place with a lot of foreigners, including a red light district and a military base close by. But it also had good food. If you wanted something a little different from the Korean food, for example, Indian food. So this one takes place in Itaewon. It's called Itaewon. Searching for Nan and Russians, pot-bellied, smart and tart, Zen, bloodlust, Dharma, toppled rice cake, orange fish eggs, and salmon slices. Oh boy! As regards this meat hole, tonked up, testy, and smiling, mine finds a home on the ground, a beard between me and my mouth. Cramping at the knee, swamp grass, Yogi-O! An allegory breaks in the mouth. The old wood sticks out from the newer handle. The neighboring dust will have its way. And the next poem is from, I kept lots and lots of notebooks in all these travels for the last 6-7 years. Korea, Poland, Turkey, etc. And this is from the little memo book. Didn't have a date in the book, but it was probably a couple of months into being in Seoul in 2006. So these are just little facts from the memo book. Memo book. My address is 813 Daeyeong Nice, Gisong, Giyang, Incheon. Joe is a veteran of the Gulf. Shane has a ponytail. Tim meets us on the roof and runs through the numbers. Wonderland is a scam. My iPod contains promising the light ocean breeze salty, naked as we came, kissing the lipless, king of carrot flowers, somebody that I used to know, junkyard, bird stealing bread. He's simple, he's dumb. I don't blame you, float on. Green Line to Shinlim Station, exit 3, bus 5529, date with B. 3:45 p.m. at Gangnam exit 1, Saturday 2 p.m. Yeoksam 3. Blind date from Korean friend finder. 250 grams of meat. Must find hanging closet. North Seoul. Into the world, into the gold-painted night sweats with Mr. Rumi, I left my broken watch in Jakjong, but picked up a hipper one in Myeongdong. 대한민국. Miari area, red light district, Seoul, South Korea. I'm drumpy, you're simple. I'm considering drinking your ass juice. Pain became a passage, a muppet. Do not make me wear flares. Spit, cherry pit, stick, glass in tummy. Munch, Rumi. Let us then mate. Love motel. To and not. Sexing doubt, the radio is a vibration from the underfloor. Yeodo Park. Heaven is a stage. We are lost in the plexiglass, with wet fingerprints, with our blood, with our native sparks. Sad dump of the heart, buzzing around the mud pit, hacking ducks with a machete. I carried the river on my back. It broke into 10,000 splendids. A lot of the poems in Hermit Kingdom are very short. I'm going to skip ahead to the last poem, which is a little bit about wandering and the idea of being hermited. So, Hermit Kingdom. The bright green and orange parrots are outside my window. They are beautifully lost. There are more things in a closed box than an open one. Make haste, ye gentlemen who ride across the seas. My housemaid awakens furniture that once slept. Snail shells were once used as an allegory for both grave and resurrection. Every morning I give a thought to St. Robinson Crusoe. Water bugs floated on the china plate. Question. Was I in your tummy when you were dancing? Answer. No. Question. Where was I? Answer. Nowhere. Question. Where is nowhere? If you want to see the mirror, then say please. The banality of the situation requires attention. A small lint-free cloth, 2 coins, a small twig, and unresolved scum clog the washing machine. I cannot proper myself completely. I imagine a forest life surrounded by friends in plaid shirts and muddy boots, but I'm Little Red Riding Hood in a sea of lights. That lady told me I lack male role models. Give me back my bones. I'm still forever selling myself. What hides you? Who is giving you a hiding? How do you hide? Being starts with well-being. Lithocardites or heart shells. Images set verbs in motion. The French proverb says, if you steal an ox, you steal an ox. Houses are made from liquor and saliva. What is the dream life of language? The wing is near the engine. Every land a jigsaw. Et va schnell? Eat the snail. Listen to me. I need a goading. Will you goad me? A tight squeeze of the lid doth not drive away wrath. Behold my face, how it bores me. More and more went in, and more came out. Folks pay a fortune for their lives. They have blown up the herd, ground in the mad, and let go. Impostor, self-posture, we are hustled into the future. Confucian harmony between what we have and what we owe. A moving back below. A wandering kingdom, no name but love. So that's from Hermit Kingdom, selection from Hermit Kingdom, which is part of a longer manuscript called Spanish Fork.